All right, prepare yourself, guys. This is Chris with T3 Medias. I am here with JFS. Am I saying that? That's right. Is it just JFS?
It's JFS, or I guess honestly, I don't think people really care what the name is as long as they come for just to come see the videos.
Come see the videos for the,
Yeah.
the, the, the movies and whatnot. And I wanted to do this collaboration with you because I came across your channel. I love your delivery and how you do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. The thing that you say, well, it doesn't matter who I am, is the thing that caught me. So I love that. So I know you don't want it to be about you. You want it to be about the work. So what we're doing today is we're doing what I call on my channel a rundown, a top five. And let's if you don't mind, let us know what we're going to be running down today.
Oh, let's see. Well, I've got something in mind. How about we talk about our top five guilty pleasure films?
All right, guilty pleasure. Let's see. Okay, so I think I got my list queued up, and I'm ready to wow and shatter the world with what I have already posted up. So let's did we flip the who won the coin toss? Who's going to go first? You want me or do you want you to go first? Or what do you want to do?
I believe you won the coin toss,
All right.
so go ahead, man.
All right. Okay. So not in any particular order, favorite
Sure.
or anything like that. It's just this is what I'm going to start off with. My first movie is 2009's Chocolate. I don't. It's a movie from that was filmed in Thailand. It's starring all Thai cast. A young girl learns to fight from watching TV and the fighters of the boxing school that's next door to them. When she finds a list of debtors in her ailing mother's diary, she sets upon a violent quest to collect a payment for her mother's medical expenses. I spent a lot of years overseas, and I came across this movie one time when I was visiting Thailand, and it just became one of I guess, my guilty pleasures. Not too many people know about it, and I love it. The action scenes in this movie were on the par of a Jackie Chan, and if not better in some scenes. So she does all of her own stunts. Back then, I think she was in her mid to early 20s. Today, the actress is 34. I think her name is. Do I have her? It doesn't matter what her name is because I didn't put it down. But it's a very very good movie. I don't know. Have you ever heard of this movie? It's called Chocolate.
I have never heard of it, but now I'm very curious. I actually want to check this out and see how it is.
It,
So I'll definitely put that on the list to find.
Yep, you won't be disappointed. The if you like subtitles, or if it's a dub version and a subtitle version, but I think the first time I saw it was the dubbed version. Now I own it. That's the subtitle version, but either or, it's the action that I love, and you'll also like the bloopers at the end of it. There's been a couple of times where she kicked a dude in the face, and it's just when you know anything about the Thai culture, that apologetic bow, like, oh sorry, it was too funny, but everybody seemed to get a kick out of it, but it was pretty cool. So that's my first one. What do you got on your top of your list?
Well, I am gonna start from the bottom, then I'll go to the top.
All right.
Number five for me is Rocky Four.
Ooh.
Sure, a lot of people already know about this film. Sure, a lot of people know that Stallone pretty much had a lot of hand in this film. But what I love about it is the story for it is ridiculous. But then again, it is a Rocky film, so I kind of expect it's ridiculous anyways. But it's fun, and I do like the fact that the one who played Apollo, like they actually wrote him to be killed off. I'm like, whoa, he was fine with that. Hey, I guess he's gonna get paid, and he'll be written off the film.
Right.
But it's basically the same as any of the Rocky films, and what I love about it is how he goes over to fight the Russian guy, and how it's just so ridiculous, but it's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
And eventually, this film does come back for the Apollo movie, the Creed
Creed, yeah,
movie.
Creed too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Creed 2. I
Yeah.
thought, wow, that's very good. It eventually comes back years later. So
Have you already seen? I have not yet, and I still need to. Have you already
uh,
seen Creed 2?
it's a lot of fun.
It is.
Creed 2. It is a lot like Rocky 2,
Hmm.
but there is a lot more. Uh, I think you can get more invested in this film. I think you get more. out of this film, especially how in the first film it was kind of mixed with Michael B. Jordan's character and Stallone's character sharing the film. But this
Hmm.
one, there's more of Michael's character Creed getting more airtime. You care about him. You care about what he's going through.
Hmm.
You want him to succeed. So I actually do like the film. It's well done. Rocky Four may not be like that film, but it's still fun. It's
Yeah.
stupid fun, but it's good.
It's funny you mentioned that one. And I think the majority of the ones on my list might be the ones that not too many people have seen. But it's funny that you start off with Rocky Four because it's a movie that I'm always quoting, and I just can't get it, especially when I'm gaming and I think of the "I must break you" line and the throw in the towel situation and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, that movie is a lot of fun, and I was surprised that, just like you said, was that he was killed off. But maybe they assumed this is going to be the last one, and there's never going to be any more. Well, but if they were thinking that, they were wrong. But
Oh, they proved us wrong.
oh, and another one last thing that I can say good about that movie is the fact that something that would never happen in real life. The fact that a American boxer can go all the way over to Russia, a total one-sided crowd, and as he's beating their champion, they start cheering for Rocky. That was the weirdest moment of the whole movie that I love. So that's I guess that was one of my guilty pleasure moments in
Well,
that movie.
for me, the weirdest one was when Apollo came out for his entrance and everything. I'm like, oh my god, it's so ridiculous. It's just so like who they got to sing his song, his entrance. I'm like,
Was it
this feels
James Brown, right?
yes, it feels like a wrestling show I'm watching, except it's boxing instead. So I'm like, wow.
Exactly. He might as well have had Hulk Hogan come back playing the character he did in Rocky 3. It was starting to
Uh,
get over the top. I'm glad they started to ground it again in these Creed movies. But yeah,
oh yeah,
that's a good one, man. Awesome.
yeah.
You makes me want
All
to go
right,
watch it.
all right. It's back to you, man. What's
All
next?
right. All right, next on my list is a movie it's got to be tied with one of my favorite of all time films. It's Love Stinks with French steward Bridget Wilson. You know about it?
I have heard about it. Yes.
Tyra Banks and Bill Bellamy. The This movie is about. I've mentioned this movie a couple times on the channel. It's about a couple who are put together by their friends, and at first it seems like it's a good romantic film, but these are the most toxic. You should never put these two combustible chemical forces in a room together, kind of situation where neither side is right. Both are just the worst people, and they go back and forth with these revenge things, all because one person wanted to get married more than the other. And it's a hilarious film. It's one that I've watched maybe more than 100 times, and I can probably verbatim go through that whole script with people, and no one ever knows what I'm talking about when I quote it, but that just makes me seem cool and original when I throw a line out at a party because nobody knows about the movie, but they should. It's pretty funny. But it was I think 92 or 3 or 4 when that movie came out, and I think it might have been before Bridget Wilson did Mortal Kombat. She played Sonya Blade in the original Mortal Kombat film.
Mortal Kombat, of course.
Mm, And then
Uh,
she did and that was when those two movies that made me a really big fan of hers. But this is by far my favorite. But yeah, that's two on my list. What about you? What you got?
all right. Well, number four is going to go to Ghostbusters 2.
Mm,
I I know a lot of people are not happy with this film because it's a lot like the first one. It is. It's
yeah.
basically the first one, except some of the things I found a lot of people don't like about it is how they don't. That's that the New Yorkers apparently forgot there were ghosts and the Ghostbusters saved the day and everything. It's
Right.
just
Oh, Bobby Brown.
and yeah, and they have to prove themselves again and prove that there is ghosts and save the day. I'm like, we saw this in the first film. How did they miss the giant marshmallow man?
You're right. That's tr-
Like,
I never understood that.
yeah, but I still like it because it's still ridiculous. It's still fun, and I think one of my favorite scenes is when they're in the subway tunnel and The train's coming towards one of them. The other two move out of the way. The guy's stuck in the middle, and
And Winston, yeah.
yeah,
Did you get the number of the train? Nope, I missed it.
sorry, I missed it.
That's one of the best
Uh,
lines. It's funny you bring that one up because out of all the between the two, of course, the original I guess is the classic one. Everybody quotes it a lot, but I find me and Sean, my friend Sean, when we're gaming, and you once again, I don't know how you're. I feel like you must have my house bugged because you just for the second time in a row you picked another movie that me and my friend are heavily quoting. There's in this movie, Ghostbusters 2 doesn't get the recognition and love that it deserves because the not the main villain. Okay, obviously Gozer was a more superior villain um, than Vigo, but Vigo's assistant, the actor to play I forgot his name, but the guy that was helping Vigo.
yeah, I actually found him very funny.
It was the beginning of the movie. The funniest line that I've ever heard when he's walking around being mean to everyone. I mean, obviously he wasn't going to be mean to the girl he had a crush on, but
Yeah,
I just it's one of those memory burns where I don't know why I always remember this scene where he walks up to another lady who's painting or fixing a painting, and he just has to go, "Everything you're doing is bad. I just want you to know this." And he just walks away. It was the rudest thing I ever saw in my
Ruined, but
life.
at least he was being
It was honest, and that's why I loved his character so much. So I feel like as a villain's assistant, he worked very well. He was the best between the two movies. He was one of the best villains of the franchise.
I think honestly, you could tell an actor who is in a movie that might be bad. You can always tell they're having fun just by the role they're playing. I bet he knew this was not going to be good, but he was just going to have fun with this role.
Yeah, you are like the squatting of flies to it. Yeah, you're right. I gotta agree with you. He it felt like he was having a lot of fun with. Oh my goodness! When they asked him, "Sir, where are you from?" He's like, "The Upper West Side of New York." Like, that's not what I meant. But it was so infectious. But yeah, oh man, good on you. That's a good pick. Another good pick.
Thank you.
I didn't see that one
Your
coming.
turn, man.
All right, the my third one is Half Baked with Dave Chappelle. Heavily quoted movie in this house. The movie that he did in the early 2000s or late 90s with a lot of his cast from the Chappelle Show, just a bunch of potheads and weed smokers who have to rescue a friend of theirs who gets arrested because he kills a cop. Have you seen this movie? With Chappelle?
I've I've heard of it, but I think this is the third time that you
Somebody
pick a film that I have not seen.
the
But I've
it's
heard of it.
it's a situation where these average pot smoker guys, they're just one of these guys that don't they just do their job, come home, smoke, go to sleep, and repeat the day all over again. Then one day, one of the friends is on a run to go get the food for the munchies. He kills a cop, but don't worry, it's just a horse, a cop horse. So the point of the movie is that they have to rescue their friend, bail him out, and get him out of jail by selling weed, and it's hilarious. If you're a fan of the Chappelle Show, a lot of the cast that was throughout that show is in this movie, his friends, and it's just got a ton of good one liners and you won't be disappointed. It's a real funny movie. Go check that out. It's hilarious.
I definitely will try checking this out. I think a lot of the films you're telling me is like, ah, man, I want to check these movies out now.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you know his old writing assistant Neil. He's on the Daily Show a lot now. Comic stand up comic named Neil. He's got one of the funniest scenes in the movie. I won't spoil it for you too much, but it's just one of those movies where scene after scene after scene there's one of those lines that's just you're just like, oh my god, and you'll find yourself repeating it throughout the day. It's a hilarious movie. I think let's throw it back to you. What you got? What's on your third on your list, I believe?
All right, number three is gonna go to Home Alone 2:
Mm,
Lost in New York. I I know a lot of people. Again, it's just another film that's a lot like the first one.
mm,
But what I love about it is well, it is like the first one, but it's still fun. It's still stupid fun. I still love the fact they brought all the characters back together. I especially love how Kevin pretty much takes his torture on the criminals to a whole new level. I'm like, oh my god, these guys should be dead. I think my
Mm.
favorite scene's the brick scene. He keeps tossing it over and over and over, and he keeps hitting the guy's head. I'm like, oh my god, that is he should be dead, but that's still funny, and you can laugh to that.
After I think after they had a little brief conversation saying we're not going to fall for that same trick again, and somehow they still did, right? If I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
that was the. It was. They thought it was gonna be another pink hand, but instead it was this big,
Brick
long, this long black thing that up the staircase, and
mm,
it just knocks them
knocks him.
both to the ground.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since I saw that movie, and for people who don't know, our president of the United States, Donald Trump, makes a cameo in that
Oh
film.
yes,
Yeah, so if you want to see that Oscar-winning performance, go check that
yeah.
check
I
that
mean,
out.
it was an amazing performance. It was
He's like,
amazing.
I think it was something like, I think it's down there. Okay, yeah, and the Oscar goes too.
Uh, but I think the one who I like the most. I forgot his name. I forgot his name. Is the one who plays the receptionist and the one with big
Mm.
is was a stolen credit card. I forgot his name. I can't
Yeah,
believe it.
I think I know who you're talking about, and if I'm thinking about the right guy, I
Tim
don't
Curry. There we go.
I don't think that was his first time ever playing a hotel receptionist either. I think he's done it twice at
No.
least in his career.
What I love about it is that Tim Curry was just he was perfect for that role. I
Mm.
love him so much, especially when he gives like the evil smile. I'm like, oh my god.
The thing I couldn't believe about that movie was the fact that they did it twice, that they left their kid, and if this would have been done today, the parents would have been sent to CPS charges a long time ago for negligence.
Oh
Uh,
no no no! With today's airport security, they would have missed their flight. He would not have gotten lost, and they would have checked his plane ticket to make sure that he's on the right flight.
have you seen the new Google commercials where the actor is with
Yes.
all the Google stuff, and but yesterday for the first time I saw there's a second commercial where I forgot his name, but one of the wet bandits, the
Oh yes, he
yeah,
was watching
he's
the
watching it, the
commercial within
commercial.
the
He
commercial.
said, and here's my part. I thought that was clever. I thought that was pretty awesome
Yeah.
that he was cool, because I know that he didn't want to. There was a new Scorsese movie that I think they asked him to do, and I think he turned it down. He didn't want to act
Yeah.
too much, but he was still cool enough to come and do that commercial. I thought that was nice. So
Yeah.
so guys, yeah,
I'm,
check that out.
I'm happy. Yeah. All right. What's number two for you, man?
All
What's the
right.
next one?
It's only because I'm so old, you know. I mean, I just turned 39 today. You know, it's my
Oh.
birthday, so just had to throw that in there because I'm so humble. But I'm picking all these old movies. So from the 80s, since I'm an 80s baby, Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix starred in this classic called The Explorers, about these teens who were having these weird dreams, and what they were getting was signals from an alien life form that was teaching them how to create a pro. It's a totally ridiculous science fiction plot, but a computer program that would make a perfect sphere that they could actually travel inside. They build pretty much they build a spaceship, and they get inside of this computer program that made a digital sphere that they could float in and send them into outer space to meet the aliens who were putting the technology and the thoughts into their brain in their dreams.
Was this a
And
kids film?
it was considered it's a family film. It's no
I have
violent.
seen it.
Yes.
I have seen it.
You
Yes.
seen the three boys, they make the little spaceship, and they have the little blue orb over them, and it's one of the movies I've seen as a kid a ton of times. I love this film.
I remember that film. It took me a while to remember the title, but like I'm glad I was able to find it and see it again. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
bad, especially as a kid.
Oh yeah, River Phoenix and Ethan Hawke. It's you get to see a young Ethan Hawke before he became the Oscar caliber actor that he is today. This was him in the on the rise, but you can still see kind of his, even as that at that age, like there's some of the mannerisms that Ethan Hawke has, his acting style. It was still there as a kid. Like it's kind of hard to explain, but if you go back and you look at him as a young actor and today, you're like, oh, he's still kind of winks like that or curls a lip. Like, it was some weird stuff that I'm looking at, I guess. But yeah, it's a fun family film, a great cast. It's one of those old movies where you'll look at it and go, "Oh yeah, that guy who's probably more famous today than he was then." But oh, I didn't know that guy was in this. Or it's a real packed cast, and it's a lot of fun. Very funny at the end as well. And this is one of those movies that makes a kid go, "Ah, now I can do that too," which I did try. I'm not even gonna lie. I tried to do
Right.
it.
That's good.
What do you got? What's next?
Okay, number two is gonna go to Labyrinth, uh,
Ooh, yes.
starring David Bowie, the late David Bowie.
Yeah. The late great.
I loved this film watching it as a kid when they showed it on television,
Mm.
and it is just the just the performance of the film and everybody in it, and the puppets all made by Jim Henson's
Hanson.
production
Yeah.
company.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
very. They all look pretty good. But
Classic.
David Bowie to me was the star of the whole film, especially the costumes and the hair. I'm like, oh my god,
The
dude,
the
what the
rock star
hell?
hair. Didn't he have
Oh,
like silver orbs like during in that movie, something like that?
which one? Which ones are we talking about? The ones in his hands or the ones in the tights?
Yeah. I think yeah, both. I knew I was going down that path. I was like, the second I started doing this, I'm like, Chris, what are you doing?
Let's be honest. I think everyone. You cannot take your eyes off any of that, man. You can't take your eyes. It's right there.
Is what do you think about the upcoming remake to this movie that they're working on?
Oh, I don't want to see a remake of this. I really don't. But at the same time, I'm like, there will never be another David Bowie. You
Never.
can try making that,
And,
but unless he is as charismatic as he was in this film,
yeah.
you're not gonna find a good actor for him.
You know what? They'll probably get Adam Levine from Maroon Five. Maybe that's what be what. The
That
classic
doesn't stand its time, first of all.
that eye roll was classic. I'm gonna make a gif out of that one. That's gonna be a meme. Oh no, no! First the Super Bowl, now this.
All right.
Awesome.
So, what about you, man? What's
Uh,
next?
okay, let's see. What oh man, I'm already at the last one on the list. Okay, I guess we saved the best for last, right? Um, I recently was reintroduced to this movie through the wonderful world of Netflix. There's an old show that I love called Mystery Science Theater 3000 that
Oh, I remember that.
I used to watch the original back in the 90s, and now with this new cast, they made fun of one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies, and I had to admit, when I watched the episode, I was more watching the movie than I was listening to the jokes. But it was Mac and Me, the old ET ripoff. Did you
Oh,
you remember this? Let's see, a young extraterrestrial separated from its family gets stranded on Earth, finds friendship with a handicapped youth, and starts to do all these Mac and Me adventures, right? With and Coca-Cola branding everywhere because that seems to
oh,
be what's available in Mars to drink. But it had a $13 million budget. It only made 6.4 million domestic, and 1988 it was a direct ripoff of ET. And I have to admit, I've seen Mac and Me a ton of times. I've never completely ever watched ET from beginning to end.
oh my god. Oh, I will tell you this. They have made a lot of rip-offs of other films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's one. Yeah, this one I recall a little bit of it, and I remember. Wow,
I,
they're not even trying to hide.
that the fact that they were ripping off ET. I suggest if you don't want to watch the movie, at least if you have Netflix, go watch that Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode where they make fun of it. You'll still get the gist of the movie, but you'll have a good time listening to all the jokes making fun of it. It's pretty good.
I will definitely check that out.
All right, what you got?
All right, the last one I saved for last, and it's the one that actually got a sequel about 3 years ago, and
Mhm.
it bombed,
Mm.
and that's Independence Day.
Oh, so wait, which one is the guilty pleasure, the original or the sequel?
Oh, the original.
Okay.
The sequel.
I,
But
I,
the
I,
original was great, especially when you have Will Smith in this film,
hmm
Jeff Goldblum in this film when he was, still young,
hmm
and Bill Pullman. when he was young too. All of
Right.
them looked
All,
pretty good back then. This one was also directed by the same people. I think by the same ones who did Godzilla,
mhm.
the Stargate film, the Day After Tomorrow,
Yep.
2012. But this one to me, I love because of how dumb it is, but it's still good to watch.
It's a
I
feel good
still
movie.
yeah, and I love the chemistry between Goldblum and Smith, especially how he kept ripping off lines from Jurassic Park. Let's go faster. Let's go
Let's go.
faster.
Exactly. And I feel like that's what was needed for the sequel. That's what we wanted. We wanted that back and forth between those two characters again, and
Yeah, unfortunately,
unfortunately,
Will
we didn't
wanted
get
more
it.
money.
Yeah. Oh, and that was when he was still demanding that his son be put in movies, and this
This
was
was when he had a career, also.
yeah. It was actually I still, even though the movie from the sequel failed, I still feel like the director made the right choice. He was the first one because he saw the track record. All the other movies where his son was being forced down into the movie, they all failed. Not all of them. I mean the ones where they were in together. Since Pursuit of Happiness, and this director was like, no. Like Will. This is pretty. This is arguably the movie that launched your superstar status career. So no, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna let you strong arm me and make me. I have two scripts, one with you in it, one with you out of it. Which one are we going with? And he made his choice,
Yeah.
and the director stood his ground. I appreciate. I respect that.
Yeah. One of the things I loved about this film also is the fact that how they, just the fact that first of all, the president decides he's going to go into battle.
Oh
They
yeah,
have,
he was a fire.
they have,
Yeah.
they find a way how to destroy this alien society
Hmm.
with a computer, a normal computer.
Yeah.
on Earth.
Like a Windows 95 virus, right? Wow.
Yeah, and the only way to destroy the enemy ship is to pretty much plug a hole in the weapon and blow it up.
Yeah, it was the most covert, very sneaky ninja of Americans military sponsored sneak attack of all time, quarterback sneak in history, with
Honestly,
the greatest speech from a president of all time.
I will give that speech was without question the best speech ever. That was awesome. I'm just glad they went with the original take of how they were gonna blow up the ship because the original one where the guy had his crop plane, I'm like, no, do not do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, where he went,
believe-
where he was gonna go up into the. You're not talking about the scene where he went up into the ship from underneath and blew it up that way, right?
the deleted scene had him on his crop plane doing that.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
wow.
like, yep,
Yeah,
that was
that would have been like kind of odd to see. The plane slowly going up there.
well, we have jet planes and alien ships that can
Yeah,
go fast. I'm like,
yeah.
no,
One
you
of
jumped the shark way too much. Did not go
yeah.
that far.
Exactly. We saw scenes where our jets, which are our top fighters, crashed into the alien ships and they just ripped through it like paper. What do you think that little propeller plane is going to do to them? Like, oh no, what are we going to do? The plane's going too slow. We're powerless.
Yeah, it's just so dumb. But yeah, it's dumb, but I still consider it a favorite, and I love watching it on July 4th.
Exactly. It's good to get inspired by that again, and every, like you say, every year. I think I check out that speech every 4th of July because it's so
Yeah,
uplifting. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this rundown with me. That was a good way back in time, kind of a throwback to some classic films out there, and yeah, I can't wait to do. We got to do this again. I like doing these top five lists with you, and I like the way you deliver your top fives on your channel. So
thank
let's
you.
once again let's let the audience know about your channel again and where they can find you.
All right, you guys can check out my channel, JFS The Reviewer. You can check it out. I do reactions for trailers or anything I can find. I also, do reviews for movies, video games, TV shows, and even do some reviews for wrestling as well. And hopefully, I'll see you guys there. Subscribe to my channel as well.
Outstanding. Yeah, we got to check him out. His wrestling stuff is another thing that caught my attention. I definitely want to in the near future get on your channel and talk to you about some wrestling stuff anytime we can find the time to do that.
All right.
Awesome. Well, till next time, guys. Peace.
There you go, guys.
Whoa, hey, before I forget, I'm not even wearing the same clothes. Doesn't even matter. Movie magic. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. Like if you like, share if you care, comment for a compliment, subscribe to the tribe, and if you want to know more about how you can send me a message and be a part of We Got Your Mail, that's coming up right here. Check this out.